Hi, I'm Kristen Davis, and I want to know, are you a Charlotte? Everybody, welcome back to Are You a Charlotte? We are here with the amazing and so brilliant Cindy Shupak, our writer and producer of Sex and the City, to discuss part 2 of Evolution 1999. Okay, let's talk about the others. Okay, this is when I also feel, and I felt this way also the last episode, which is when we're getting pedicures, talking about the class system, class and caste system. I feel like our group scenes are like really coming together now. Kind of for the first time in a way. Like they've been kind of together. Like, you remember when we shot it at a restaurant, we had the pepper mill. That was one first season where I'm like, oh, that's working. Oh, yeah. But like, the group scenes were so challenging to write. Yeah. And they had to really we would work on those things all day long, and we had to run those lines.
Yeah. And then all the angles, you had to film the scene over and over and over.
Yes. And the timing of any waiters.
But those are my favorite scenes.
Are they really?
I mean, I love the scenes of you guys all together and just, breaking down. I love a lot about this series, but those were like so fun. For me, they seemed really fun to write and to watch because in a way, when I wrote those essays about dating, like for Glamour, they would want you to end on some kind of revelation about some advice. And what was fun about writing the four of you is you could just dissect an issue and you could all four have different perspectives and nobody was right and nobody was really wrong. And so it was like commiserating. And that's my favorite thing to write and do. So those scenes were just fun to and to sometimes have it be surprising what you would think Charlotte would think about this and what she did think about this.
Most definitely. Yeah. Everyone surprises almost all the time, which I think is great. And that's the joy, that's the joy. And that's also, you're right. It is unique to the show that there'd be four characters with distinct viewpoints that are friends and that can freely, that it's like they have an agreement. Yes, we're just going to freely discuss it all. Yeah. And not to say that there isn't judgment. There is occasionally judgment or no, don't do that. But then people just go ahead and do it. Do you know what I mean? And we're still there for each other. It's not like we're going to be like, well, I didn't agree with that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Never, I told you so. Yeah.
Right. No, thank God. Thank God. But yeah, it's interesting to think back on it, the things that made it unique. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. And in this particular scene, we talk about fertility, which is fun. And I say, I have a tilted uterus. And Miranda tells us about her lazy ovary, which I don't even know if they use that term anymore. It's kind of interesting. Do you think?
I think they might, but I don't know for sure.
I don't know either. But it seems not very scientific.
That's what it started on the gynecologist table this episode with Miranda.
Which was so great because Pam Thomas, again, the director, is so visual. And she's just got a shot above of Cynthia because it's so awkward. We've all been to, and you're going to see Charlotte at the gynecologist, but Pam just had such a creative way of filming.
Yeah. And how Cynthia's just looking up and talking to the person who's inside her. Basically. Exactly. And then and having to describe she's not on birth control because her relationship ended, how you give too much. Anyway, there's a lot I love about how all of you did this.
So relatable and so great. So then we talk about, this is when Carrie wants to leave things at Biggs. People talk to me about this, which I find really interesting.
I think I saw it. Was it who?
Christy Brinkley.
Oh, Christy Brinkley. Thought that was Carrie pushing the relationship.
She did.
I saw that clip on TikTok and it was interesting to me. Because
I tell you that I kind of wanted to push back a little, but I love Christy and I respect Christy, and I didn't want to because she was talking about her daughters and watching with her daughters. I just felt like it was a little delicate to push back, but I kind of wanted to say Carrie puts up with a lot, way more than Big puts up with, and she tries to leave some
tampons in a hairdryer.
Is that so bad? Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, but I didn't want to because I felt like. I'm always so appreciative when people come on and talk about their
and I love hearing the different perspectives. I mean, I thought that was interesting to think of it that way when I just felt like she was so gingerly trying to leave with something.
I know.
But it's interesting to think about it she was pushing. Maybe Christy knew more than we did that Big was not ready.
Everybody knows their own experience, I guess. But for me, I'm Carrie's bending her whole self around who that man wants her to be or trying, with middling success. And she holds so much in that I feel like when she does finally speak, sometimes it does come out, with a lot of drama or whatever, because she's been shoving it down and not really free. He is so, obviously doesn't want her to be doing the things she wants to do. Like at one point, doesn't she say something to him like, like people in a relationship do, what do you think people should be doing? Like, don't you think this is normal? And he goes, no, I think we're doing exactly what people, I'm totally happy with what we're doing right now. Because he is happy.
Yeah. And it's not a bad situation, actually.
Obviously,
2 apartments, we can be together when we want to be together. And
but she feels like she needs to look good in the morning. And for him also, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, she's trying to look amazing for him.
Yeah.
And so she wants her little baby tiny hairdryer that I've literally never seen a tinier hairdryer in my life. She wants to leave it at his house. Like, I just think he's so mean sometimes, obviously.
I guess I can see, I like that because I felt like I could see both sides definitely. But I mean, it did, when he comes back with her stuff, like you left this stuff at my house.
Bag,
it's just like,
it's really sad.
God. Teflon for relationships. They were really fun to watch in that though, I think.
I mean, they are because it does have, we're at the point now, luckily, because the first season I was like, big is awful, big is horrible. What the heck? Because I never looked at it ever objectively. You know, I first of all was in it. I would just read the script with excitement every time. Of course, I loved Big because I was Charlotte and Charlotte loved Big. Like it wouldn't occur to me to peel away that level and think about, well, how does Kristen feel about Big? I would never ask that question. Who cares, right? It doesn't matter. But also, I also feel in the 90s, where we were in New York, especially, if you were dating a guy like that, you expected him to be withholding.
Yeah.
That was normal.
I mean, I think I didn't have the self-esteem to be very objective about any of this. I was like, of course she tried. She's not going to push it like that.
Right.
All that stuff.
No, me too.
But I think as a writer, I have to like love all the characters anyway. Like I have to see what's lovable and see what's right about their perspective. And so I kind of felt that way, I guess, all along. Like I wasn't being objective about, it was hard to be objective about, well, is he treating her badly or is she overstepping or anything?
No,
I just kind of get it all,
Exactly. And you're just trying to be real and relatable and the tell the truth of the stories as you are experiencing them. Yeah. That's a really good point. It's not our job to be objective. I mean, it's interesting now because now all these many years later, obviously we're looking back at what we created, but also now there's social media where everyone's putting their 2 cents in.
Thank God we didn't have that.
Thank God.
I am going to say, thank God we did not have that. I mean, I often think I'm glad that communication was what it was then. Cause like, I still find like writing into scripts, texting and everything that's going on now, just like not as fun as just people talking about it. And yes, in real life, they wouldn't necessarily go over there or call each other, but it was just fun not to have that option for us.
I agree.
And then same about the instant feedback. Like I think even when I worked on Modern Family, like they would like watch the tweets and while the show was airing and see if people were laughing at lines. And it was nice to be trying to, I mean, I remember Michael saying like, maybe Jenny told me, I think Michael, that we're making this show, like the network doesn't have a lot of input other than like make it deeper, make it more complicated. Same with you guys, like those questions, like I think maybe my character did that, but he was like, we're making this show that we would enjoy watching. And that was really what we were doing and hoping that that was something other people would enjoy watching too. But it was kind of like not based on what we thought everybody wanted to hear.
It's pure. And that was the joy of it because at the time, the model was network TV where they were trying to please advertisers, right? And everything was advertiser based, which was why they couldn't kind of push the envelope in different ways, which was then the birth of HBO as we then came to know it, obviously, that they could do whatever they wanted. They were subscription based. Now we're in this whole other world of streaming, everything being available all the time at once, and then everyone looking at literally what everyone says.
Yeah.
And clickbait being important.
Yeah.
Which is...
Yeah. I mean, it's all very different.
Okay, let's talk about just Futterman, right? So here we are. Charlotte is on a date, but she doesn't know she's on a date. She's wearing her glasses, which is funny. They go to see a Broadway show and they discuss Betty Buckley and how talented she is, which really made me laugh and I loved it. And she's with a very handsome guy. He's played by Dan Futterman. His name is Stefan or Stefan. Yes, Stefan. Yes, am I saying it right? Good. And then we're walking and talking and, Charlotte seems oddly relaxed. She's not on her normal date vibe, right?
Yeah.
But yet it's a beautiful night. It looks great. He looks great, whatever. She's talking about the show. And then they get to the cab and then he grabs her and kisses her. And she gets in the cab and she's just staring at him like, what the heck? I touched my glasses. Right. Which is really funny. That's the beginning.
It was fun to see you though, like see Charlotte yeah, how we wouldn't have really thought about how she's different with a guy she doesn't think she's on a date with, because we've mostly only seen you on dates or
100%
with like, gay friends. So
we're either with the girlfriends or we're on a date. Yeah.
But you were kind of like you'd be with girlfriends.
Yeah.
Relaxed.
It was so nice.
And
it was
then
so nice.
It was a nice little lesson. I mean, reminder that like maybe we should just be that way.
100%. 100%. So then we go to lunch. We're at a bar. We're at a bar with the ladies. And I'm telling them that I'm confused about this guy. Is he gay? Is he straight? And we have a conversation where we talk about gay, straight,
and straight gay men.
Yeah. It's a new term of heterosexual males spawned in Manhattan as the result of overexposure to fashion, exotic cuisine, and musical theater and antique furniture.
Every stereotype. Anyway, can we talk about Miranda? So
let's talk about Miranda.
Well, first of all, I love Charlotte in this whole thing. And like, that was a sexy love scene that you and Dan Fetterman did.
Thank you.
Like, it was like a really beautiful.
Pam Thomas really, really planned it out. And I think that's my first sex scene ever. That's like a beautiful sex scene.
Yeah.
I think there were little hits. Like there's that one time in the first season where I'm trying to get this dude a hand job and they wanted me to do it over the sheets and I had to hide in my trailer and my dressing room and like wait, like call Dave in LA, my manager, and say like, help me. They want me to do something over the sheets that's like so ick and cringe, to use the word. And then I put it under the sheets, but like that was like a joke.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. Like most of our sex scenes were for comedy.
Right.
And weren't, I heard you talking to some guest about the male gaze. It wasn't voyeuristic, really. It was usually a story point of some sort, and we didn't really linger on it.
Right.
And that story point, though, in this one was that like she wasn't sure about him and then it's this great sex, like really intimate, beautiful sex. So that was important there.
And it was super important and so beautifully done. And she had come to me early because I hadn't really done the sex scenes, right?
Yeah.
And I hadn't showed any body. And I don't feel like there was a ton of body, but she had a whole plan about the camera being over us on a track. And I remember it all. And of course, Fetterman made me feel so much better because I was super nervous, you know, just about my body and whatever. And everyone, it was so easy because he's such a good actor. And Pam had such a specific plan and was so calm about it. So even without intimacy coordinators, which we do discuss all the time that we didn't have them, it was so comfortable as much as they can be.
Yeah, she was a good director. And
she was a great director.
Like just making you know what you were up to.
And also, I think because she'd come from commercials, I think was the thing I remember. So she was so visual, but yet she shared that with us.
Yeah, and she brought in like sample, like other screen grabs of other things that she was using as reference. Like there's one time where she goes from like your bed, I think, to Samantha's bed over the sheets.
Which was super smart.
Yeah. If you watch that, there's some beautiful directing in that one.
There's some beautiful directing. And also that's what we needed to get everything started to be tied in.
Yeah.
And as it goes, that you can see that developing, you know, episode by episode, right? And she did a beautiful job. I, at the time, was like, wait, are those my legs? No, those are Kim's legs. They're very beautiful. You know what I mean? But like, so beautifully done. So wait, let's go back to the thing at the bar. This is when Carrie holds up the tiny Fendi bag. People talk a lot about the Fendi baguettes and how, you know, what a great partnership that turned out to be.
Yes.
And Sarah Jessica said, you know, it's literally just because that's who would send her some bags.
Well,
not that she didn't love that.
I was sorry about that because I, you know, grew up in Oklahoma. I had no fashion sense, still probably don't have the greatest, but I learned so much on the show. But when I wrote that episode, which was only the second episode I ever wrote, I think I wrote in, it was like her little Coach bag or something. And I remember Pat Field was like, don't just leave it to us. Don't even try. And I was like, I don't know, it was a purse. I knew they made a small one. I mean, I just had no vision of like the hierarchy.
Can I tell you that continued until the end of And Just Like That?
Yeah.
The girls would write something in and Molly would be like,
no. Yeah.
It's so cute and funny though. Yeah. But I mean, how could you know?
But that was the perfect little bag because the point was like she didn't have to carry a big bag because she could lead stuff.
Fantastic. And it was also so cute. And it's so sweet that like she's trying to, you know, it's so cute that she wants to leave the things. Okay, so then we're there. At Carrie's apartment. Big comes over for drinks with the girls. And returns. Oh yeah, that's horrible when he brings that bag back. I've skipped ahead somehow.
But they talk about it.
Yeah, they talk about it. And then she said she meant to leave it. And then she asked, oh, this is the thing that I was saying earlier. She asked about the ideal living situation for their relationship. And he responds, exactly what we have. And then he has his place. She has her place. They see each other when they want. And then they get to be alone when they want. And I just love Sarah Jessica's acting so much because whenever he does do these things, you could just see so many things going through her mind and her heart. You know what I mean?
Like
and she doesn't say them.
Trying to say like, just socks, and he's so right. But also that voiceover, I stand by that voiceover afterward when she says, ever since men heard about Woody Allen waving across the park to Mia Farrow, he goes, so we're like Woody and Mia.
I remember
before
this.
Sun Yi.
I remember this like it was yesterday. Do you remember that whole article where you were just like, what? Like it must have been Vanity Fair. You're just like, wait, but they do what? And she can only wear beige? Like, what? And I think we talked about it every day at work.
Yeah.
Like,
but also, I still think that fantasy of like living sort of separately, but, you know, having your own space, but being able to be together.
It's great. It's just not a great example because it really didn't go well.
Yeah, it didn't go well.
It really didn't go well.
That's not our
right.
model.
So it's very fascinating.
Maybe you do want to be in the same building.
Right, but I think it's a lot like the sleep marriage situation. It's a little bit like that. That's the current today version where you're married, but you're not sleeping in the bed together. And some people think that's amazing. And some people think that's a sign that you're going to get divorced. I was just with someone who told me like she realized when she had a king size bed with her first husband that she should never have that big a bed and she should have a queen size bed. They should be that close. Well, and I was like, what? Well, listen, Charlotte and Harry have a tiny bed.
Okay.
And people commented on it on the stuff.
Okay.
And it is something where every day Evan and I would be like, why is our bed so small?
You have such a good relationship.
I guess so.
And neither of you snore.
It was a vintage bed that they loved is the gist. Because we did actually have to ask, like, why? Because sometimes it would be awkward to film in it because it was so small. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But maybe it's because they have such a good marriage that they can. And maybe that's why they have such a good marriage. I don't know. But it is interesting to me because I would definitely be like, bigger bed, possibly sleeping in a different room. But I'm not married, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay, so we're back. Oh, let's go back to the Samantha. So Samantha's whole plan is that she's going to lure her version of Mr. Big, who's named Dominic, back. She wears a stunning dress to go out with him. She tells Carrie she's not going to have sex with him, right? She's going to make him want to have sex with her, and then she's going to be like, bye, I'm going to do to you what you did to me. But it doesn't go that way because she just enjoys him too much. And he keeps telling her how beautiful she is and how incredible she is and that she's more beautiful than he remembered. And, you know, so many things. He's very smooth. Meanwhile, I go back on another date with Stefan, and he is now using a Martha Stewart recipe. So we bond over that, which is so cute, but also confusing. Yeah. So Charlotte's between like, this is amazing. Oh, I'm a little confused. This is amazing. Oh, I'm a little confused, which of course is
and then
really
like
fun.
He gives you this amazing kiss, but then he like stands back and looks at you and there's like, it's dress Cynthia Rowley.
Exactly. So and like I still have that dress hanging in my closet. It's a great dress. I don't know if I can still wear it, but it's a great dress. I should probably give it to my daughter. But yeah, it's hanging in my closet. I just saw it today and I was like, oh my God, that's
so that dress. Kitchen where you guys, do you remember that was the same, now I can't remember, who Samantha Richard, when she was dating Richard.
It's the same apartment.
Remember that? So for mega fans, if you like, when they had that amazing apartment of Richard's that had the stairs that came down, the kitchen there was this kitchen that we used for Dan Fetterman's. That apartment was amazing. Yeah.
That is amazing because that apartment was amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that. Okay, Thank you, Cindy, for connecting those dots. I love it. Okay, then we go to the dessert bar where Stefan is the pastry chef. Yeah. And I take Carrie and Stanford to get their help with deciding if he is straight or gay, which is kind of entertaining. And everyone loves him, basically. And he notices Carrie's hair. And again, it's the moment of like, Yeah. You know, it's all very interesting. And we've all been there. Then, this is so sad, Miranda's date. Oh,
it's so good.
Lord. It's so
She's
good.
So funny in that. I remember noticing how Cynthia would kind of serve up so that he could just knock her down. Like the way, if you watch that scene, the way she says, like, she's excited to have this conversation about freezing your eggs. Oh, good. Someone I can like debate with. And then he just like,
it's a bad reaction, man.
But she, it was interesting. All of you guys did that.
Her instincts are incredible. Her instincts are so good.
To just sort of make the other actor better even, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. And also just to understand the like she plays it all so close to the vest, yet it's also present. You know what I mean? And I think that, so many times when I'm watching her. And the guy that she's acting with is Harry O'Reilly, who I feel like I know from something else, but I forgot to ask you, Hannah, what Harry O'Reilly is.
But he's supposed to have a hair plugs and he starts just like staring at his head.
I know. And he's
and
like,
it's
are
so
you looking
Miranda
at my
to be
forehead?
like judgmental about this guy with hair plugs who she had eliminated before her lazy ovary. And now she had to consider.
I know it's
I feel like I just always was wrestling with that. Maybe still am. Like just like what you're too good for and what like maybe you're not even good enough for. Like where are we now?
You, Cindy.
Settling
I don't know where we're with. Are we?
I still don't know.
I don't know either. I do know that people there was this post that has done really well on my social media that I reposted Evan, which was kind of interesting. Evan was doing some press for the show and someone said to him something about he said, women come up to me all the time and say, I'm still looking for my Harry. And he says to them, because he's Evan and he doesn't care about anything, he says to them, how many Harrys have you pushed away?
Ooh, good for Evan. Sad and bad for us. It's probably true.
I was like, oh my God, it is probably true. Right?
I think, and Evan's so great looking anyway. But remember when you met him, there's like the really handsome lawyer and then there's Evan. They were both handsome in their own way. But I remember Evan saying, because his stand-in, who is the person they light, and his stand-in was not good looking. It was just bald. And sorry if you're listening. But Evan was like, it's kind of like when you get set up on a blind date and you go, is that how you see me? Like Evan was like,
no.
Is that who
I don't remember this. Oh my God.
I remember him saying something about it. Like, okay, I get it.
Oh no,
anyway,
poor Evan.
But he's the hero. Everybody loves him.
He put up with so much stuff, but he is the last man standing, which I'm really happy about.
Love him.
He deserves it.
He does.
But he did put up with so much. Remember when we put the hair on his back?
Oh my God,
he didn't have any hair.
Yeah.
Poor Evan had to go through that. Oh my God. Back to the olden days. We're back. Evan hasn't come yet. Harry has not arrived. So then we go, this is when we were in bed and he puts on Cher. Do you remember that we had to go to a Cher concert to get permission? It was hard.
We all went.
Right?
Yeah. And she came and like talked to us before the show.
And I touched her and she was so fragile. And
oh my God. And she had like a Viking whole thing going on.
It's like a headpiece.
Which on stage looks impressive. In person, it's kind of like, wow. What is
I know. In person, you're like, I can't believe you have to wear this. And she was so
did
sweet.
Did Cyndi Lauper open for her or something?
Oh my God, yes.
Whoever it was, we were having like dinner and Cher was talking to us while Cyndi was on, I think.
Right.
And I do remember.
Incredible at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
It was incredible. It was when she had this song that we get to use in the show. Wait. It's
Do you
not
believe in life after
okay,
life?
it is. Yeah. I mean, it's an old song now.
We would have been happy to go to the concert anyway, but there was some connection where
I think we had to get her seal of approval, which is totally fine because we got to meet Cher, which is incredible.
Iconic.
Because I grew up watching the Sonny and Cher show, and I don't care if I'm dating myself.
That was one of those experiences where you're like, okay, I can't believe this is my life. I get
insane, absolutely, and I love that song so much. And whenever it comes on the radio, I'm so happy. It makes me so happy because it reminds me of Futterman, reminds me of Cher, reminds me of us. It's a great thing. So we're there. I try to ask poor character Stefan if he's been with a man. He asked me if I've been with a woman, which is a fair question. Charlotte doesn't answer, which makes me wonder, had Charlotte been with a woman and we don't know? I think the answer is no, because I don't do that threesome.
I think Charlotte, to me, it was like she's just like, dodging. You're right. You're right.
She realizes that
it's a ridiculous question. Like, of course, he wouldn't ask me that. And why am I asking him that? And
also,
or maybe
it's like
but except for today, maybe he would.
Right. And also, it's like a weird
especially
thing.
When you're about to have sex.
Exactly. Like, bring me out. It's very strange. But Charlotte, she's concerned. I don't know. She's
brave that she asks him what she's been worrying about.
At least it's honest, right? Yeah. To ask him honestly. But then she dodges when he asks her, which is kind of funny. And then he does say the very funny thing about how he lives in Chelsea. He's a pastry chef. He'd be gay if he was gay, which, yes, more power to you. And then I'm relieved. And then we have beautiful sex, which is great. And everything goes great. We're just going to skip to the mouse. Everything goes great. The next morning, he wants to make her some tea. And then a rat starts squealing. And I'm like, what's that noise? And he's like, what noise? And I'm like, it was like a squealing. And he's like, oh, yeah, it's over there in the glue trap.
It's in the glue trap.
There's a whole thing. There's literally supposed to be a little mouse stuck in the glue trap in his kitchen.
Yeah.
How New York and terrifying.
I don't think it was stuck in the, I can't remember how we did that, but I think it was
fake.
a real.
No.
Okay.
We cannot have put a real mouse in a glue trap.
We didn't.
I would not have been okay with that.
It looks real.
It's horrifying. I won't even let people put glue traps at my house. Even when I had mice at my old house, I was like, no, that's mean and horrible.
I tried it once, and then it was like the telltale heart because this mouse was not dead but had one leg, and it was dragging around a glue trap, and I was hearing the glue trap. I had to go out.
It's awful.
And
it's so awful.
It was cruel, and I'm sorry. I never did it again.
I know. It's a terrible, terrible thing. But then Danny
that mouse is
Futterman's
still
character,
alive, just walking around with a glue trap.
Oh my god! I hope he made it. I hope he made it. So
because I didn't kill him.
I'm glad you didn't kill him. So Danny Futterman's character Stefan jumps up on a chair and squeals, and then there's the funny voiceover that it basically says, I didn't write it in here, but it basically says, that Charlotte is not, her masculine side is not developed enough for her to be with someone whose feminine side is so developed. And that's great.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's a real thing.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to find the right fit, you know?
Yeah.
And at least Charlotte knows this. About herself,
It was fun. I mean, it was fun to be on the set for all of this.
It's always fun to be on a set. Okay, wait, here's the trivia. When Charlotte is hailing a cab with Stefan and says, you got to show a little leg. This isn't the first. Oh, this is a through line. Carrie does this in Morocco. Do you remember?
I forgot about
But the
that.
funniest thing is I don't show any leg.
Yeah.
Because you know how I feel about my legs. I don't know if you know, but I'm not fond of my legs. So I'm sure I was like, I don't want to show my legs. Or like I do some like pose. Yeah. Like, I'm like, this is the pose you make. And then it works, which is hysterical because who wouldn't stop for Danny Futterman? Do you know what I mean? But it is true that this is a through line. I have to say my other thing that I'm so amazed by every time I watch the old episodes, we say, and just like that, every single episode.
Do we?
In this episode, we said it. It's crazy.
It's kind of like I couldn't help but wonder. There were certain lines I didn't quite realize we were using all the time.
I didn't either. I mean, I didn't help but wonder, but more so because once ever social media started, they would always, it's such a great jumping off point. But I didn't realize and just like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we use it all the time. It's nutty. It's nutty. Cindy.
Yes.
Are you a Charlotte?
Okay. I think maybe right now, for the first one in my life, I'm not.
Wow.
Which isn't good.
No,
I think I always had this like romantic optimism, and I'm just feeling like, tired of it all. I'm a little bit more Miranda right now than usual, but I usually feel like I've got a little of all of them.
Okay, then
I think Charlotte
I'm not going to say
is
yay then.
Optimism and hope, and okay, I'm going to be Charlotte again. But anyway. I think Charlotte is a good place to get to.
I agree with you. It's hard to remain Charlotte for your whole life.
Yes.
I think in some ways that's an unrealistic expectation, even for myself. And I play her. You know what I'm saying?
But I think they're all aspects. Like I always thought, I start out like Charlotte. Then I get into the relationship. I kind of get in my own way a little bit, Miranda-like. Then I'm kind of Carrie over analyzing it. Like I think Carrie is the whole everything. And then you're kind of Samantha, like, okay.
Totally.
But then somehow I go back to Charlotte again. And it's like,
I mean, I think Charlotte is your core. Yes. You know what I mean? And I think that I know for myself, when I get down, it's because Charlotte is my core.
Yeah.
Right? Because like, if you look at Miranda, I mean, and Miranda does, like, she's kind of a little down in this episode, right?
Yeah.
But she also, sometimes she just like gets strength from her pragmatism. You know what I'm saying? She's just like, I see it like it is and I call it like it is and no. But then like when Steve breaks up with her, which was the one right before, she's so gutted.
Yeah.
Like it's just so sweet. But all the characters are so beautifully drawn and
But anyway,
written.
I'm proud to be a core Charlotte.
Excellent. I think core Charlotte is good. I mean, that's how I think of myself too. I'm Charlotte with some Carrie because that's why also I enjoy the podcast because I can look at the themes of the relationship stuff and talk to other people like yourself about them. It's fun. It's very Carrie-esque, really, you know? And Carrie did have a podcast for a minute there, but not like mine. Not where she's in charge. You know what I mean? It's fun to be in charge of your podcast. I enjoy that. But
so
I think it's so interesting.
Again.
Thank you for being here. And you have to come back because you write so many of the absolutely iconic episodes. And I love to hear your memories because you have different memories than I have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to pull them together is fun.
Can I say, in case I don't come back, you getting married to Trey when you've just found out he can't get it up with the veil. I think I wrote that line like Carrie tells you, like, maybe he. like masturbating before you came home.
Right.
And didn't want you to know. Like you're in your veil and you go, I think the stage direction was hopeful. And you go, maybe he did jerk off. It's one of my favorite moments. One of my favorite moments in the show. You in your wedding dress with your veil and then hopeful.
Do you remember shooting that and that Betty Ann, our AD, laughed out loud? She was up on a ladder behind me, laughed out loud and ruined a take. I was so mad.
Oh my God.
Because that's hard to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's a very
perfect, however.
delicate. Thank you. And thank God I could do it again. Because you're always like scared. Like, can I do it again? I don't know. But if you make the AD laugh on a ladder, then you know it's working.
You
right?
know it's
but
working.
then you also ruined a take. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I remember. I remember just wanting to thread that needle so precisely, you know. Thank you. That's a big episode in my mind as well, in terms of just the glory of her getting what she thinks she wants. And then obviously later on we find out it's not what she wants, but what a great character arc, you know?
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. And you must come back. There's too many that you wrote not to come
maybe
back.
I'll come back.
I mean, yeah, we'll just plan it out. I don't want to overstay my welcome, but please come back.
Okay.